Hey guys, I'm IzDaisho and I'm back with the Return to Ravnica limited review, and now we are reviewing we're reviewing Red. That's what I wanted to say. Now why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
I'm Garub.
And I'm Andrew.
Okay, so let's jump right into it, and here's what I was trying to say earlier. This is Annihilating Fire. It is 1 red for an instant Annihilating Fire, deals 3 damage to target creature or player. If a creature was dealt damage this way, exile it instead. Awesome against Scavenge, that other ability. I'm not sure how relevant it is for anything else, but it's still 1 red, instant, deal 3 damage to target creature or player. It's obviously going to be very, very good. And
great.
You're just gonna want this card to remove their creatures. Yeah. That's really all there is.
You want as many of these as you can get in every red deck.
Yeah. I agree with all of these things. It's very easily first pickable in a weak rare pack.
I mean, yeah, if there isn't like an amazing rare, like I'm
right. Even like a decent
in a moderate rare
yeah.
pack, I'll still first pick this. This is really strong.
Speaking of a moderate rare, Ash Zealot, red, human warrior. It's a rare first strike haste. Whenever a player casts a spell from a graveyard, Ash Zealot deals 3 damage to that player, and it's a 2/2. So this card's good. I mean, 2/2 first strike haste is kind of where you want to be for 2. I like it better than the other first striker for 2.
Yes.
And its secondary abilities, is that completely irrelevant in this format?
120,000% completely irrelevant in Ravnica Limited.
Right, so, I mean, this card isn't incredible, but it's definitely qualified as a Bear Plus.
It's a Bear plus to me.
It's a Bear plus in Limited and a plus outside of Limited.
Yes, because yeah. 2 things there.
Yeah, alright, let's move on to the next card, Batterhorn. 4 and a red. It's a common. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy an artifact. It's a 4/3. Now, this card's not that good. It's very rarely going to hit anything. You can still probably play it since it's just a zombie Goliath, but you don't really want to play it ever.
It is important to note that it hits key runes, which
key runes are uncommon. I mean, you didn't play your main deck artifact removal in M13 when they had rings. So
once again, I'm saying it's important to note it, because if you have it, you may want to sideboard it in against key runes.
Right. You side it in against key runes, you don't necessarily main deck it.
Yes.
Alright, Bellows, but you can main deck it because it still has a 5-cost 4.
It's okay.
It's a relevant body.
Yeah. Alright, Bellows Lizard, 1 mana, 1/1, ew. And then its ability is like, ew. 1 and a red, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. No,
1/2 fighter.
But if you can give it evasion, if you can give it
flying,
bad. It's very mediocre. If you really want a card like that, you'll be able to get it as late as you want because you shouldn't be playing it.
Man, this card is really good. Bloodfray, Giant, 2 red, Trample, Unleash. It's a 4/3. It's an uncommon, and you're going to be playing it when you draft it.
Very happy to see this card.
So, if you don't unleash it,
you're wrong.
If
you don't unleash it, you're wrong.
If you don't unleash it, I agree, you're wrong. But even if you don't unleash it, it's still that boar from Avacyn Restored plus Trample, right?
Yeah, even what boar?
Is it a Minotaur? Nah, the 4 mana 4/3 for 3 in green, 4 mana 4/3 from Avacyn Restored.
Oh, Nettleswine.
Yeah, it's a Nettleswine.
Yeah, I love Nettleswine. Nettleswine with Trample, yes please.
And then you unleash it, and oh my god, it's a 5/4 Trample.
Yeah, what's that guy doing with 5
power? You have 5/4 Trample for 4. You don't need to be blocking. You're gonna be getting
like, wasn't Stampeding Rhinos just always good as a 5 mana 4/4 Trample?
Yes.
Okay. Chaos Imps, rare, 4 red. It is a flying unleash. It's a 6/5 for 6 mana, and Chaos Imps has Trample as long as it has a +1/+1 counter on it. I mean, as far as bombs go, this is pretty much as good as you can get for a dragon. It's just a dragon that's gonna win you the game.
The only thing wrong with this card is its creature type. That should not be an imp. Imps are small.
Yeah, I don't really.
It also has
that.
flying Trample, which is just.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of the most hilarious.
The most relevant.
It dates back to the age-old question of how that's possible.
How is that possible?
But besides that, it's a ridiculously good card.
Alright, let's move on to the next card. I think this is Garrett's second favorite card in the format. Go ahead.
Cobble Brute. 3 and red for a 5/2 common. That's it. And this is the first ever vanilla 5/2 common ever printed. Sorry, not common. Vanilla 5/2, just ever printed in all of Magic's history. And this plus that slug from before completes a grid of a 6x6 grid of vanilla creatures that have every possible combination of power and toughness with numbers between 1 and 6.
Cool.
And I'm just so happy that that exists for no reason whatsoever.
All right. So what do we think about actually playing this card? Are we going to be playing a 4/2 for a 5/2 for 4?
I mean, it's okay. The only issue is it dies to everything in combat.
Yeah, it'll die to everything, but the upside is there. Like, are you gonna splash? I mean,
I'm not splashing this card.
let's say you just have like annihilating fires, and then all of a sudden you turned into an Azurius deck. So now you're just like doing the whole "is it Azurius" combo thing. Are you gonna be running this card if you can detain their things?
Maybe.
Like,
I mean,
maybe.
if I can get it in, sure.
Yeah.
I'm running this card pretty much if I have to. I'm never going to look to run this card. But if I need to have my 22nd, 23rd card be this one, I'm not the most unhappy with it.
Pretty unhappy.
It's 5 power for 4 mana, which is nice.
Yeah, no, that's something that you don't usually find.
Right, especially in red. You usually find that in green. If anywhere.
If you're lucky,
right.
You find it in green.
But I mean, that's why I'm not the most unhappy with it. And if you have the kind of control or removal, which is also, I guess, just if you have the kind of control, then the fact that it only has 2 toughness will not be as relevant.
All right.
If we could somehow give it first strike, like with that white enchantment,
that would be the most fun.
And then you're in Boros and you're in the wrong set. This is not Gate Crash. Wait till February.
All right, Dynacharge. It's red for an instant. It's a common. Target creature you control gets +2/+0. It has Overload for 2 and a red, so let's read that one more time. Each creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. This card's, it's fine. Like, they've printed it.
Blast.
Yeah, I mean, they've printed it a bunch. They've printed Rally Peasants, Trumpet Blast, this card. Like, they just like printing these kind of effects, and there's always a deck for these kind of effects. So, yeah, that's pretty much all there is.
I like Overload on everything.
If I'm in
except Counterflux.
If I'm in the aggro deck that wants to be pumped like that, then I'm taking this.
This
if
is
I'm
going
not,
in.
then I'm not taking this.
This is going in every Goblin Rally deck.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll get up to Goblin Rally soon. Anyway, Electrickery, red for an instant. Electrickery deals 1 damage to target creature you don't control, and I'm pretty sure you guys are getting used to this, but whenever something says you don't control, you know that there's an overload coming. So Overload, 1 and a red. Electrickery deals 1 damage to each creature you don't control. Not very good.
But not very bad either.
I think it's extremely sideboardable.
Yeah, I mean, 1 damage to a creature for 1 mana is like, yeah, it's sort of Geist Flame-y, and it has some sort of other effect. Yeah, you can play this card. You probably won't do it.
I mean,
all the
you're
time,
gonna sideboard it at all the same times. You're gonna sideboard a Chandra's Fury into play.
And all the times where your opponent is playing Dynacharge, you'll probably play Electric.
Yes.
Against the Goblin Rally deck.
Yes.
Anyway, Explosive Impact, 5 and a black for a common instant. Explosive Impact deals 5 damage to target creature or player. I like this card.
It's
I mean,
5 and a red, just so you know.
What did I say?
5 and a black.
5 and a black for a red card that is 5 and a red. Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, it deals 5 damage, just kills random shit, and it also can dome them if you need it to. I like it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just a versatile kill spell.
It's
I like it a
1
lot.
more mana to make Lava Axe into an instant and also hit creatures. It's
Yeah.
good.
Therefore playable.
It's interesting to compare, like, Lava Axe, Chandra's Fury, Explosive Impact, which one's the best, which one's the worst. I think this one's probably the best of those
Yes.
3. Probably by a decent margin, even though it costs 1 more. But, yeah, it's good.
It's
In
very
my
nice.
opinion, it is a 6 mana removal spell at instant speed that can also do something else.
Yep.
Which is finish a game.
Yeah. All right. Goblin Rally. 3 red. I don't know why I keep thinking this is black. Maybe I'm just really
You just really
Rakdos
like
online.
Rakdos, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's a sorcery. It's an uncommon. Very relevant that it's an uncommon. If this was
Oh
a
my
common, I
God.
think we would see a lot of this deck. But as it
That was
stands,
stupid.
yeah. Anyway, put 4 1/1 red Goblin tokens onto the battlefield. It's gonna do exactly what you think it's gonna do. It's just gonna you're gonna overrun them with goblins. You're gonna get a billion chump blockers. You're gonna Dynacharge them for victory. You're gonna use the Is It thing that makes everything unblockable.
Teleportal!
Favorite card in the set.
You're gonna teleport them all the way to the death zone or something. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. It's a good card. What do you guys think? Anything to add? No?
They're populatable.
They're populatable, so
Which
if you're
is
playing...
completely irrelevant, but, I mean...
Hey, if you're playing that Is It Azurius deck that I was talking about
Because
earlier...
you're playing Boros Gruul, so you're gonna populate all your red cards.
nah, you get to go, like, Goblin Rally, and then you get to populate and make them indestructible with Rootborn defenses, right?
So, Boros Gruul, a.k.a. Naya?
Right.
Anyway, Naya's not a thing, obviously, in this one.
I mean, it can be.
No, it can't. Sorry.
It can
no,
be.
it can't.
Celestia splashing red is not going to happen unless you have ridiculous cards.
Anyway. Okay, I'm joking. Like, you actually can build that deck if you want to. You can do whatever you want. I mean, anyway, let's move on to the next card. Gorehouse Chainwalker, 1 in a red for a 2/1 Unleash. So this card's good. It's just it would be a really fun deck with the Rakdos Unleash deck is just going to be really fun where you're just playing a lot of cards that they're like it only costs 2? It only costs 3? Why are you getting such a good effect for such a low amount of mana? And
can't drop.
And then you remember that you can't block.
Yeah, you are playing Can't Block Tribal, but you want to be in Can't Block Tribal when all you want to be doing is attacking them anyway. I mean, but what is relevant in like decks where you're playing a lot of creatures where you're like, yeah, I want to attack them, at least your creatures can block the turn they come out. That's not true for Unleash. It's just attack, 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 never block.
Yep.
It's good, though. It's going to be pretty good. And it's a common, so you can pick up a bunch of them, and then you're just going to be playing a lot of 3/2s.
And you're going to be the happiest.
You know, I'm so surprised Wizards didn't print a card with Unleash and Vigilance just to troll the player base. That would have been awesome.
It'll happen. Just wait.
Alright, let's move on to Guild Feud. Guild Feud is 5 in a red, and it's one of those cards that I really just don't want to read because it has
red enchantments.
So much text. Anyway, at the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent reveals the top 3 cards of his or her library. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent reveals the top 3 cards of his or her library, comma, may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield, comma, then puts the rest in his or her graveyard. Period. You do the same with the top 3 cards of your library. If 2 creatures are put onto the battlefield this way, those creatures fight each other. So, yeah. This is just a lot of text.
You don't play this in Limited.
And not a lot of effect, so I agree. If
you play this in Limited, they're going to get out their giant demon that they have sitting on top of their library, and you're going to get like a 1/1 Sapperling in your mono red deck.
They're gonna get out Worldspine Worm, and you're going to have out the 3/2, dude.
We don't know what Worldspine Worm is yet.
You'll find it later.
Okay, fine.
Gutter watch Green first.
It's like a preview in a set preview.
Oh my god, it's previewception. Okay, Gutter Snipe, 2 in a red. Uncommon Goblin Shaman Shaman. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Gutter Snipe deals 2 damage to each opponent. It's a 2/2.
It seems fine.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it in Is It a lot.
I do. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're going to be playing a lot of spells, and you can play Hysterical Blindness all you want. Man, I can't remember the name of that card. Downsize. Yeah, you can play as many downsizes as you want because you're like, I also do damage to you. It is an uncommon, and like the problem with the difference between this and Burning Vengeance is that
Burning Vengeance hits creatures.
Well, I'm just saying in terms of when you're gonna pick it, somebody's gonna pick this card in any red-blue deck, as opposed to Burning Vengeance is only gonna get picked in the Burning Vengeance deck.
Yes.
So
but this deck,
it's going to be harder to build the Gutter Snipe deck than it was to build the Burning Vengeance deck.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it's still good. Like, you're probably going to run him. As long as you've got a couple of instants or sources.
One of my favorite cards coming up.
Alright, Lobber Crew. 2 in a red, Defender. It's a common. It's a Goblin Warrior. Lobber Crew deals 1... tap... Oh, God. Alright, tap. Lobber Crew deals 1 damage to each opponent. Whenever you play a multicolored spell, untap Lobber Crew. It's good. I mean, if you can deal a couple of damage a turn, then it's like 2 damage unblockable, really 1 damage unblockable every turn, plus it blocks. It's kind of funny that the Goblins are apparently the cards that you want to be playing in Is It, where you expect Goblins to just be like the Rakdos cards, the aggressive, just attack, attack, attack kind of cards. But Lobber Crew is more like a really, really defensive card. Gutter Snipe is more like a card you want to be playing when you're playing Magic, when you're playing like spells and stuff like that. So
it seems okay. I mean, I'm not very excited about the card,
yeah,
but I see that it can just tax on extra damage to each multicolored spell you have.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say you have Lobber Crew and Gutter Snipe and you're playing a bunch of multicolored instant and sorceries.
You're going to kill them very quickly.
You're just tacking on a bunch of extra damage. And that's kind of cool.
That's why I'm very happy to see this card right here. It does a lot for you. You can untap it at instant speed if you have an instant, which is also hilarious because you just block something.
It's if you have a multicolored spell.
Sorry, yeah.
Multicolored
instant. Which there are.
Charms!
Yeah, there are a lot of multicolored spells. So this thing can untap a lot, especially if you're in the Is It deck. a lot of those don't go that early.
Yeah, this is a lot more of an Is It card than a Rakdos card.
Definitely.
I would
Especially
agree with
because it
that.
has the thing that says Defender on it.
It has Defender on it, but it's
Oh
still...
my god, Defender Unleash Vigilance.
I mean, yeah, it also has one...
I wrote them.
I hate you. I mean,
God,
it's
just
really like a 1/4 unblockable Vigilance Defender that can attack.
I think it's more like a 0/4 that has a tap ability to deal damage to them.
Okay, I'm comparing it to something. We don't need to actually
Anyways,
just read the card.
I like this card. I'm going to be playing it.
Minotaur Aggressor, 6 in a red, uncommon, 6/2 first strike haste. Interesting. Okay.
First thing I like is that it's a Minotaur, and you never see enough of this.
Nobody's blocking this thing ever.
And if they do, then their thing is dying.
Palisade Guardian is blocking this guy. Nobody else.
And you're gonna cry. No, Bizarre Crovad.
or two Armory Guards can block this thing. But other than that, it's just like, yeah, I mean, I'll just sacrifice a creature every turn until I'm dead. That's okay. But it is 7 mana and it doesn't have...
Bizarre Crovad has 5 toughness, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, whoops. I forgot. I thought it had 7.
No.
In that case, that's just bad.
Yeah, you need to... It's just...
That's terrible.
It's not going to happen. This card it's just not...
I mean, it's... Minotaur
it's good,
Aggressor, it's fine. I mean,
it's fine.
It's a very good way to top off the curve of your red deck. You don't
I don't
want
know
it in
about
a hyper aggressive.
I don't know about a very good way.
I think it's
I would
okay,
say
not
it's
very. It's a good way.
okay.
If you have enough control, this can very easily go in Is It deck. I don't think you're just going to be seeing much Rakdos play.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not going to be in the hyper aggressive decks.
It's not even in the aggressive
It finishes
decks.
off the game.
Yeah, I think it's a good finisher for the control decks.
Yeah, it'll take a few turns, but
First
you'll
strike
get
and
there.
haste on a 6/2 is good.
Yeah, all right. Mizzium Mortars. This card's awesome.
God,
I mean,
fantastic.
it's 1 in a red sorcery. It's a rare, thank God. Deals 4 damage to target creature you don't control, and overload for 3 red. Mizzium Mortars deal 4 damage to each creature you don't control, aka 6 mana. Kill all your stuff.
Okay.
I'll take it.
So wait, hold on, Daisho. Are you telling me that I have a card here that, if I have it in the early game, kills something, and if I have it in the late game, kills all of the somethings?
And both of those costs are like aggressively costed.
It's perfect. This card is a work of art, and it's beautiful, and the artwork on the card is cool too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
It's
just a
everything you
good
want in a
card.
card and more. Especially if you can just... I was going to say something stupid. But even if you can get out like your hypersonic dragon, it's like instant speed. It's just hilarious.
Oh, God.
You're hypersonic dragon. No.
You
I
automatically
refuse to
have a
accept that.
hypersonic dragon if you are Is It at the pre-release.
Yeah, this is true. Pursuit of Flight. 1 in a red. Enchantment or enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has blue. This target creature gets flying until... This creature, not target creature. This creature gets flying until end of turn. Yeah, I mean... It's a thing. This will happen.
Put it on that red 1/1 for that fire breathes for 1 in red.
No, I won't put it on that. No.
Don't do that, please.
Ever.
Anyone listening or watching this right now, don't play the one.
In fact, I think I'm gonna have to
Okay.
kill
The
Garrett
lizard.
for even suggesting that.
please
However, you might want to put
please
this...
don't. I like this.
Put this
next card
in
coming
your
up.
Boros deck on your fencing ace.
Put everything
Yes.
on the ace.
Please. Okay, Pyro... Oh, well, I guess we should probably talk about this card a little bit more. Like, how often are we going to be taking this card? How good do we actually think it is?
I mean, it's not Spectral Flight, but it's getting close to it.
Yeah. But that being said, do you really want to be playing this in an Izzet, or do you really want to just be playing Spectral Flight in red in your Rakdos deck?
I think this is fine just as a +2/+2 in Rakdos. You don't even need the blue. You could splash for it easily if you get Izzet Guildgate or a Key Rune.
Yeah, this is true.
But even without the splash for blue, I think it's still very good to have that on like a nice Rakdos creature.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Pyro Convergence.
I love this card.
4 red, enchantment, whenever you cast a multicolored spell, deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So this is a little bit different than the Goblin because you're not going to be playing this unless you're playing the Pyro Convergence deck. So you are going to be able to pick up as many of these as you need. And when I say that, I mean as many of these as are opened.
Or as many of these as are open, divided amongst the players attempting the gimmicky Pyro Convergence deck.
So just you.
Which will only be Gareb.
I disagree.
Only ever Gareb.
It's fun. Gimmicky red decks are fun.
Yeah, okay. So, 0 value outside of the deck where you're trying to build this deck. a lot of value inside that deck. Although, I mean, multicolored spells, almost all of them are just good, so it's going to be hard to find enough multicolored spells to make that deck work.
It's also one of my favorite card arts.
There also just are a lot of multicolored spells.
Yeah.
I think that it's a lot easier to have multicolored spells than flashback spells to compare this to a Parallel Burning Vengeance.
Okay.
Which is one of the reasons I think that this has to cost 5 instead of 3 like Burning Vengeance did.
Okay. That's pretty fair.
Acceptable.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I mean, once again, yeah, you're straight up not running this in anything except for its own deck. And it is yet to be determined how that deck will do. It's very difficult to analyze that without playing the format, but I'm going to go ahead and say that it will be a deck that you should keep your eye out for, because if it's open, go into it.
I'm not going into it ever. Okay, Racecourse Fury, red, enchant aura. It is an uncommon, enchant land. Enchanted land has tapped, target creature gains haste until end of turn.
I have looked through this set like 20 times and I've never seen this card before.
It's
Because you never cared to.
yeah,
it's not that important.
No, it's really not very relevant.
I mean, it makes every creature cost 1 more mana if you want to give it haste, which is kind of cool.
yeah, but it's
It's
at
like a
the,
Slayer Stronghold, but worse.
yeah. I mean, no, it's not even because it's at the cost of a card. So if it was on my land, sure, I'll take that.
Like
but-
Slayer Stronghold, but worse.
right. So, but it's at the cost of a card, which makes it a lot worse.
Yeah.
Splatter Thug.
I like
2
this
and
card
a
a lot.
red. Human Warrior, first strike, common, unleash, 2/2. That's
Okay.
it.
I like this card
would
a
play
lot.
a 2 and a red 2/2 first strike. And this is more than a 2 and red 2/2 first strike.
Yeah, no, it's just good. You're gonna like Blood Ogre
It's
that
a
can't.
common
I mean,
too.
like the thing
Yeah,
thing about
you're
it
gonna have
is
these.
like your 3/3 first strikes. If they can block, then they're game changing. If they can attack, then they're just really good. So
You want this in every single
Red
red
deck.
aggressive deck, especially the Rakdos Unleashed deck.
yeah,
It's just really.
I think it also
If
goes
you
in
can-
the Epic Control deck.
yeah,
It goes in every red
It
deck.
goes in red decks.
You get the option. That's what Unleash does for you.
Yes.
yeah.
That's what all of the things do.
It's
for
a
you.
little.
I
bit, I mean,
don't
it's a
see-
little bit undercosted as a 3-cost 2/2 first strike.
But
not
common, it's
like
not.
so bad. It's definitely It's definitely still a playable card, but I don't think it's amazing as a 3-cost 2/2
I mean,
first
3
strike.
cost 2/2 first strikes have just historically been fine at common and limited.
Yeah.
They've just been like the standard cost for a 2/2 first strike.
Okay. Cool. All right. Street Spasm, red X, instant, uncommon. Street Spasm deals X damage to target creature without flying, and it's got overload for XX red. So
This is target creature flying that you don't control.
that you don't control. Sorry, I did not read that. Okay. Street Spasm deals X damage to each creature without flying you don't control. It's like really expensive, but it can still alter the game in an extreme way that most uncommons don't at instant speed. Like instant speed board wipes
Are hilarious.
they're just not. No, they're not even hilarious. They don't exist. In instant speed, one-sided board wipes. Am I correct in saying that they just don't happen ever?
They're very rare. I'm pretty sure
I
there
know
are
Cyclonic
some.
Rift.
I'm pretty sure there are some. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. But I mean, it's very rare for it to happen.
Yeah, and even so, it's
Very
just very
uncommon
good.
even.
Very good early game. You can just shoot something at any time you want and feel happy about it. You just
It's a
have to.
heat ray.
Like the thing is, you have to evaluate this card as you're playing. Like if you can't just be playing
For
in
both costs.
Well, you're right, but you can't be saying, okay, I really want to get rid of that 3/3 right now. It'll let me get in some damage, but if I save this, then maybe it'll be better later in the game. No, you have to play this spell when it's good for you. You can't just wait for a board state where you can hope that it's really good for you. You just have to make sure you play this card as 1-for-1, and if you can play it for more value, then you're just ecstatic.
I see it likely being used every time for its base cost of X and red.
Right.
The only time you're going to overload it is going to be like for its miracle cost, really. On a board stall, you're just going to draw this card. You're going to have 12 mana, and you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah,
Yo.
that's pretty funny. Anyway, Survey the Wreckage, 4 and a red. Well, actually, can we talk about like just for a second, like for constructed? Do we think this card is even relevant to Bonfire?
No.
Just because it doesn't hit creatures with flying?
Yes, that's very
Because
important.
like
It also doesn't hit
hit
them.
it doesn't hit lingering souls.
Not at all.
Hitting them isn't. I don't think is the biggest part of it.
I don't
but-
think that's the biggest part at all. I think it needs to hit creatures with flying. Flying is
Yeah.
very relevant because of
And-
lingering souls
and because of just Delverish decks.
Right. All right. So that's all we'll talk about.
But if we're gonna talk about anything like that in constructed, I do need to point out that Mizzium mortars for red decks that are more like a red deck wins type strategy in constructed is a lot better than Bonfire was for them. Because Bonfire, like, you have to spend a bunch of mana into it to even just to kill one thing, and they didn't like spending all their mana to do it. This gives them a kill spell that also scales into a later game.
Mizzium Mortars is ridiculous.
Mizzium Mortars is awesome.
Right. Okay, so Survey the
Back
Wreckage.
to limited.
4 and a red, sorcery common, destroy target land, put a 1/1 red goblin creature token onto the battlefield. Yeah, I don't see why I'm playing this card.
Wizards, every single time you print this, you still do it wrong. I'm not going to print I'm not going to play a 5 mana destroy target land, do a relevant thing card.
Yep.
But it's
If
so
it was
cute.
destroy target land and target creature, then sure.
It's so
But-
cute.
There is just a little goblin just standing on top of something just
This gets my
destroying
cute
the world.
approval, even though it's a god-awful card.
Alright, 5 and a red for, this is Tenement Crasher. 5 and a red for a beast, it's a common, it has haste, it's a 5/4.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll
I
probably
like
talk.
big hasty dudes. They're cool.
I'd rather it than a 3/3 flyer that does some irrelevant thing.
I like weekly flyers.
I know you do. Okay, Traitorous Instinct, 3 and a red. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. Until end of turn, it gets +2/+0 and gains haste. So
Not trample.
not trample, but
This is gonna steal so many games that you don't expect it to steal.
yeah, I mean it just does the same thing every time, except this time you have to pay 1 more to get +2/+0 instead of an extra red to get trample or
Yeah, but you're
whatever
stealing
they
their
do.
Concordia Pegasus and winning that way.
No, you're not. You're never going
You're
to
swinging
do
with
that.
a 3/3 Concordia Pegasus that you don't own. You're going to win.
Okay, now we're gonna move on. I mean, all right. Like you've seen, if you've ever played Limited, you've seen what this card does, and
It wins.
well,
Well,
it wins, or it just is useless.
But if you don't know when to pick it'll go kind of late. It may table, most likely will table. It's not necessary to your deck, but it's cool to have one.
Is there
And-
anything that you can abuse it with? Any like
Yes, launch
Blood-
party.
Oh, okay. Well, you're paying 8 mana at that point.
Yeah, it's 8 mana to
Unless
take
you
control
have-
of a card,
unless-
swing with it with 2 extra power, sack it, kill another one of their cards, and do 2 more damage to them.
Unless we're playing Grixis, in which case we can Hypersonic Dragon them, play this card at their end step, and then untap, play our launch party.
Exodia.
I don't even know what you're talking about
He's
anymore.
talking about combos.
Okay, Utarva Hellkite, 6 red, dragon, mythic rare, flying. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, put a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Does anyone know if there are any other dragons in the format?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, I'm...
Niv Mizzet the
Oh,
Fire.
there is Niv Mizzet.
Niv Mizzet the
No,
Fire.
it's
Oh,
Draco,
Draco
Genius.
Genius.
Draco
If
Genius.
you get Niv Mizzet, Draco Genius...
Hypersonic Dragon is probably a dragon.
My guess.
I don't
Name
know.
still sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Hypersonic Dragon.
Quit talking about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
This is not Yu-Gi-Oh!
Nobody
I'm so
cares.
glad it's not. I don't know if there are many other dragons, but the fact is it makes its own dragons.
Alright, so yeah, we
Actually,
did...
we covered all of them.
Yeah, we got Hypersonic Dragon, Niv
But
Mizzet.
it makes its
So,
own dragons.
if we
That's
can get,
all
if
that
we can
matters.
assemble Niv Mizzet and Udvara Hellkite in the same deck, we are just gonna like just be the happiest guys ever. But
If
like,
I assemble Udvara Hellkite in its own deck, I'll be the happiest
I
guy
understand.
ever.
I understand. This card wins the game by itself. Very, very, very much so.
The only issue
You
is it
swing in
costs
for
8.
6, you get another 6/6. The next turn, you swing in for 12, you get 2 more 6/6s.
You don't even have to get in. It's just when it swings.
Yeah. All right.
You also
but,
then win.
Yeah.
yeah. So
really
this
quickly.
this card is just not that good because it costs 8 mana. Otherwise, it's really
Sure.
good. Like.
If you're some deck that doesn't plan on winning before like turns
If you pick
5,
this,
if you plan on being the control late game deck, play your giant dragon and win the game. Why not?
if you play this, you're definitely going Izit and you're controlling them all day. Every
Right.
day.
Rakdos
But
control,
the
which
thing-
isn't the thing.
The thing is, you don't really care if you get this Udvara Hellkite because you can just get as many 6/2 Minotaurs and they do the same thing. Like, not really, because this card's going to end the game like 2 turns quicker, but you're still playing an expensive card that'll win you the game.
Combos really well with another mythic. A mythic that costs a red, black, and that's all we're gonna say because you will see soon.
God.
Oh God, I didn't even think of that.
I heard you say that before, and that's just
Also have
absurd.
Necropolis Regent in there.
All right,
Bro, we're done.
Extra
Moving
love.
on to Vandal Blast.
Let's Vandal Blast some people. Red, sorcery, destroy target artifact you don't control, overload for 5. Not really printed for
Sideboard.
limited, I don't think. It's just a sideboard card. But it's an
Key runes.
uncommon at that, so...
Kill all the key
They're going to be
runes.
playing Key Rune Tribal when you just destroy all of them.
That's not a thing.
It will happen once.
No.
Every single person watching this right now,
Always pick your Key Runes.
there will be one game that someone you know will play, and they're going to talk to you about it, and they're going to say, I had 3 Izzet Key Runes and 2 Rakdos Key Runes out, and it was an incredible deck, and I had all this mana, and they all died to a Vandal Blast.
No, that's never going to happen. Viashano Racketeer. 2 red. Viashano Rogue. It's a common. When Viashano Racketeer enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card.
It's cool.
And it's a 2/1.
Is that the only looter in the set? Besides, like, anything else?
Yeah.
No, there's the is it Key Rune is the looter.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So not really, but sort of is.
It's cool.
Um,
It does things that you may want to do in an Izzet deck.
Right.
It gives you 2 abilities that are not really either worth a card, but they're on the same card. Which is, I think I've brought that up multiple times
How's
already.
this 2 abilities?
It's
One,
a dude
one
and
ability
you-
is that it's a 2/1 for
That's an
3.
ability?
Well,
Okay.
one, it
I
gives
get what
you
you're
two,
saying,
two
yes.
effects for 1 card. It gives you a 2/1, and it lets you loot once. It only lets you loot once, though. So
Unless you bounce the Fairy Imposters.
yeah, I don't.
Which could
I
happen
don't know.
in Izzet.
I don't know
Well,
how
it's-
much I'm like. Yeah, I get to loot another card because of this.
okay. I mean,
I don't want to be running this
it's
card.
not that strong.
I will run this card probably, but I don't want to be running this card.
Yeah,
that
I'm
much.
not going to actively seek it out.
It's
Alright.
it's just not rummaging. It's just looting. It's not that good.
Well, you rummage once.
It's
Well, you-
rummaging once. It's discard, then draw.
Yeah.
Oh right. Sorry.
Okay, so anyway, that's going to be it for Red. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a nice day. Bye.
Garub signing off.
Adios.